Whenever I pull up a question in homework questions, there's going to be a hyperlink down here. I'll go over one first because that was the order. There'll be the hyperlink, and then I'll pull it up, and it'll say R1, number 9, number 1. Now, when I say number 9, number 1, this is like the problem in the book, number 9 in the book. So if you go to the R1 section of your book and go to number 9, it's going to look similar to this problem. So what's the number 1? Well, this is similar to R1, number 1 on your online homework. So the reason I tell you this is some of you may take notes by using your book. Is that your book right there in that big black notebook? You may pull up R1 and mark that one with a highlighter so you'll know what we went over in that section. Or you may have printed out your homework at home and put it in your notebook, and that's the way you take notes, and you can mark this one as being done in class. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you need to know what numbers you're going over. And I will do that on every single problem I pull up. I'll do it a couple of times because there'll always be one person that'll go, what number is that? So anyway, R1, this is review section 1, number 9 in the book, number 1 online. And it says, simplify. Now before I do this problem, we're going to go over the mathematics of, or the rules of, I done finally got the hang of this thing. Took me a day. We're going to go over the exponential laws right quick because some of you may have forgotten. I know y'all don't forgive me what I'm doing. So the exponential laws. Okay, I have no idea what did that. And it's going to erase every single dot. I got it. Try that again. The first one is called the power rule. The product rule. And that is a to the n times a to the m is equal to a to the n times m. I'm sorry, plus m. And that's called the product rule. Basically, if you multiply, and I'm going to highlight this guy right here, because these have to be what? In order for the rule to work, those two have to be what? They have to be the same base. So x to the third times y to the third, that don't work. The second rule is called the quotient rule. A to the m over a to the n is equal to a to the m minus n. That's called the quotient rule. And again, these have to be the same. That's where a lot of students go wrong, is they'll put the homework problem in there and they'll say x to the third times x to the fourth, and then they'll say x to the fifth over x to the second, and then the third one will be x to the third, y to the third, and then students will go into starting over parts because they don't know what to do. It's got to be the same base. 3, power rule. A to the n raised to the m power is equal to a to the n times m. That's the power rule. Now the good thing about the exponential rule is that you do not have to do them in any certain order. And whenever you're dealing with exponential rules or logarithmic rules, it does not matter which order you do them in. You can do the power rule first and then do the exponential, quotient rule. You can do the inverse rule. No matter what combination you have, the end result should give you what? The same thing. Now these 3 are all, you have to do something. Alright, the last 2 is more of aesthetic, meaning the way something looks. The inverse rule is used to get rid of negative what? Negative exponents. The inverse rule is designed to get rid of negative exponents. So it's negative exponent, you have to with an exponent. 1 over a to the negative n is equal to a to the n over 1. Meaning that if you want to change the negative exponent, just what? Flip it. Not flip it, flip it. Flip it. And that will get rid of the negative exponent. I'll get into that when we're doing that example. I'll show you a little bit, how to think about that. And the inverse power rule is just a bigger rule than this one. It has parentheses in it. A to the n over a to the m raised to the negative w power. If I want to get rid of that negative w power and make it a positive w, I flip the inside. And that will give me a to the m over a to the n raised to the w power. And people say, well, gee, but I thought you said if you flip something, it changes. No, that's when you have no exponents, when it knows parentheses. It's a different animal. This is a cat, this is a tiger. Totally different. Okay? They're the same thing, but they're totally different. This is different because it's got parentheses around it. Raised to the power just does not have parentheses. Okay. So these are your handy-dandy exponential laws. You should have done these back in pre-algebra probably. So let's take this guy. This guy says 4 to the first power, a to the fifth power, b to the third power, all raised to the fourth power. Now, which one does this one look like? Does it look like 1, 2, or 3? No, it doesn't look like 1 or 2 because 1 or 2 doesn't have what? Parentheses. It's not this one, and it's not this one. It may be number 3 or number 5 because number 3 and number 5 have what? Parentheses. Which one is it? Number 3 because it's not negative exponent. So it's not this 3. So number 3. So you use kind of what we call the distributive law for exponents, which is like power law. And you distribute that forward. You can get 4 plus 4. It's going to be a number. A to the 20th and b to the 12th. And 16 times 4 is 64, and 64 times 256. Somebody help me out. What's the unit? Now, I will put this or I'll put this. Depending on the context of the homework, depending on the homework question, depending on the teacher, depending on anything like that, those are the 2 extras. Sorry about that. I'm going to make a mess. Extra, but I'm going to do I was trying to help you out. So that answers the question. Well, here, what about this one? Okay, like we said, depending on the teacher, depending on their direction, depending on the context of it. So you might want to read the what? You might want to read the direction. Whoever said that. Okay? So we go over here and we look, see if we got the right answer. Well, let's go ahead and type it in and let's see what we get. Well, that's what should be the right answer. Oh, I guess that is the right answer. Usually they give us a right answer or a wrong answer. Oh, it's asking for a similar exercise. So let's go ahead and do a similar exercise. All right, do that one. This one says 7x to the 4th, y to the 6th, raised to the 3rd power. I'll write it bigger so y'all can see it. Because most of the people that can't see, they usually sit on the back row. So y'all figure that out. And they will not move from that back row. Now the first one, I can't see. Now it says, give the answer using positive exponents. So, technically you could do either one of those answers because the directions do not specify. But chances are they're going to want 343, but I'll type it in too. I don't know. That's why they give you 3 chances, and that's why I give you the challenge question ability for challenge questions. You type in 7 to the 3rd, x to the 12th, y to the 18th on the test, then I'll give you credit for it. Simple as that. If you need your off dollars, and I'll give you credit for it. And if you need to go into hysterics. 343, x shift up to the 12th, right? Y shift up 18th. Now, if you're wondering what I'm saying, shift up, hold the shift key and hit the arrow up, and that'll send it into the exponent. Hit the right arrow key, that'll put it back down to the regular cursor. So, check it out. Check answer. We got it right. You feel good about yourself, right? Okay, I'm not going to talk to you. All right, next. R141. So that's R141 in the book, number 5 online. And then I'm waiting. There we go. Use the formula for binomial squared multiply. Well, half of you said, oh yeah, I remember that. And half of you going, I have no idea what he's talking about. But I can use the FOIL method. No, you're not supposed to use the FOIL method. You're supposed to use shortcuts. What are the shortcuts? Well, I'll write them down for you just so you'll be able to knock the cobwebs loose. These are the shortcuts. I call them shortcuts because I don't want to say all the other names. I'm not going to say all the names 15,000 times during the semester. So I call them shortcuts. Number 1, A plus B quantity squared is equal to A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. Number 2, A minus B quantity squared is equal to A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. 3, A squared minus B squared is equal to A plus B times A minus B. 4, A cubed plus B cubed is equal to A plus B times A squared plus AB minus AB. Oh, sorry. I take medication. AB plus C squared. I said that one class I had to do the challenge too. This is the 10 minutes. Good enough. How long? I put the pencil down, pencil with it. Y'all remember these? Okay, there's 2 types of people in here that just answered that question. One, they said, yeah, I remember those. And then the other one said, yeah, I remember those. I used the FOIL method. Okay, then don't cry when you're not able to finish the test. Don't cry when you're not able to finish the test in school. Don't cry when you're not able to finish the test at college. Okay, if you're one of those people that refuse to learn these, you will see these up until competency 3. Okay, so if you want to keep doing the FOIL method and keep, people turning in their test and you're on number 5, then don't learn it because you're going to see them over and over and over. Okay, there they are. This way to this way is multiplying. This way to this way is multiplying. This way to this way is factoring. And I don't have to show you this, you should know that. So let's go over here and look at the problem we got. 7x plus 2y quantity squared. Now the first thing to do is find out which one it is. Well, let's ask which one it is. is it? Is it not? Well, that's square. So that makes it still what? Circle, because it's still what? Cube. That kind of narrows it down to the first square. Well, that's got parentheses. So that means it's these two. So which one is it? Number one or number two? Number one. Can you put it right up under it? That's the way I teach my 102 students. A plus B all squared is equal to A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. So A is equal to 7x and B is equal to 2y. And then what do you do with A? That's 7x and 2y. Plug and what? Plug and shove. Now all this is supposed to be done in the field. Okay? So you should get the answer of 49x squared, 49x squared plus 28xy plus 4y squared. You should be able to do that. So parentheses squared plus 2 times parentheses plus parentheses squared. Just rewrote this like that. And now plug and shove. 7x, 7x, 2y, and 2y. Go ahead and finish it out. So look this up. Alright, so what's 7x squared? 49x squared plus what? 28xy plus, oh, that's what I said already. That's what I said already, Paul. All of this should be done now. I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now. If you are a student that's going into the sciences or the mathematics, sciences, engineering, and you're going to be taking calculus, then you better not be one of those people that say, oh, I just needed to read FOIL, or I just needed to FOIL. In other words, you have ceased to utilize these, or you have elected not to learn these, you might as well change your major because they are going to follow you all the way to Calc 3, if not more. Okay? And if they're in Calc 3, they're going to be in Physics 3 also. So, just telling you. I don't know who that is, so don't say that I'm talking about you. Because I don't know who is saying that to themselves right now. But if you have been one of those people that have said to yourself, well, I can do it just as quick doing the FOIL method, then just don't take my word for it. Just see what happens. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have, yeah. And that should be your answer. So let's go up here. Because y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about. So we're going to go up here. And I'm going to type in a 3. I like there. And there's the answer. 49x squared. Look at there. Plus 28xy plus 4y squared. Y'all feel good about yourself? Let's do another one. Alright, you do that one. It says 3x plus 4y quantity squared. 3x plus 4y quantity squared. And if you can't do that, then you consider yourself what? A failure. Good. Y'all know how this works. Failure. Quit. Living it is. Now it's going to look like the other one because it's the same type problem. So I'm going to rewrite it. 3x plus 4y quantity squared. And then just write a plus b quantity squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So that means a is equal to 3x squared plus 2 times 3 times 2 plus hb squared. So that means the 3x goes here, 3x goes here, and 4y goes here, and 4y goes here. And that's going to be 9x squared plus 2 times 3 times 4 is 24 plus 16y squared. And again, all that is exponential. A lot of people say, well, this is just very difficult for me to learn. Well, so is playing piano. I tell somebody who's played piano for 6 years that playing piano is difficult. All they're going to turn around and say, all it takes is what? Practice. The shortcut is about the closest thing to playing a musical instrument in mathematics that there is. Okay? If you want to suck at it, then do 5 or 6 problems. If you want to get good at it, do 200 or 300. And you make them up all day long. Okay? Pretty much I had to do like 1,200 because I was kind of slow. I rode the short bus for a week, remember? I think I told y'all that, didn't I? If I didn't, I did. When I was in first grade. Thought something was wrong with me. Rode for 2 weeks actually before my mother figured it out. And then she went up there and raised all kinds of things. There ain't nothing wrong with that boy, just some sensors. Alright, look at there. 9x squared plus 24xy plus 16y squared. But back then, they could put you on a short bus and not have to, you know. My mama was mad. But anyway, that's that one. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me. That way I could play short bus and people not say I'm offended. Alright. R2, 3, let's see if there's any, no pictures. Okay, oh, one. Alright, let's do this one. Let's do it 4 times. Let's say, this is R23/7. Oh, that last one was a pretty good test question. Alright. Factor out the greatest common factor from the polynomial. So write this one down. I'll blow it up for the people that sit on the back row that can't see. They won't move. The last 2 rows. Don't you dare complain about not being able to see it while I'm trying to get you to see it, alright? Hold up, Candy, alright? There. Huh? I could, but I don't like that. Maybe the last day of class I might hot dogs and chili and cook some. Yeah? Yeah, I could, but I pick the fries up. I mean, just cut the potatoes and cut them up. Yeah. Comes from a farm and everything. Comes from a garden. All right. Factor out a common term. FOCT. Do not pronounce it outside of blue. And that is factor out a common term or factor out a common multiple. In common. Well, remember, whenever you factor out a common term, and I have to do this. So I want people that can't see, I want y'all to start moving. Every time having to do this. So next classroom, you can't see that, then you need to move. All right. Whenever you factor out a common term or factor out a common multiple, always remember that when you're talking about exponents, you go with the lowest exponent. Okay? Always remember that because it's real easy to kind of get it discombobulated or confused. So, with this guy, we've got 3 k third m to the 4th plus 9 k to the 6th m to the 5th minus 18 k to the 3rd m to the 6th. Now, I'm really not concerned about the 3, 9, and 18 because most of y'all are going to get that right. The ones y'all screw up most of in the class. The ones y'all screw up, leave that. So, the K has a third, a sixth, and a third. So what am I going to pull out? Third. You always pull out the lowest exponent. So, K to the third. And then 4, 5, and 6. Which one? What? No, whatever. Persnickety. That's simple. Alright, so I'll pull that out. And 3, 6, 9, what? 3. And you pull that out. There. Okay, thank you. I know. Alright, now whenever you factor, you basically are doing what? Divide. When you factor, you divide. When you distribute, you multiply. Right? So, unfactor. What's 3 divided by 3? What's k to the third divided by k to the third? And what's m to the 5th divided by m to the 5th? Okay, so if you mess that up, please don't tell anybody. Alright? 9 divided by 3. And k to the 6th divided by k to the third. Well, of course, roll and subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3. 5 minus 5 is 0. Minus 18 divided by 3. K to the third divided by k to the third is k to the 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. And m to the 6th divided by m to the 5th is m to the first. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, you didn't got no m to it. Okay, I know. Y'all could skip 5 or 6 steps. Y'all are geniuses, I know. Why do I do that? Well, in calculus, there's a thing called derivatives and antiderivatives. And I tell students, whenever you're in doubt, always go back to the basics. Always go back to the basics. Every term in the mathematics has a coefficient and a variable. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. What about 2? 2 has a coefficient. Right out here, it says to the what? X to the 0. So I can take the derivative of that because derivatives and antiderivatives are fueled by exponents. Alright? So you have to have an exponent. students, always, when in doubt, always fall back on your basics because they won't ever steer you wrong. So what do you do? Well, one times one times one is one. Three k to the third times what? Well, that's one multiplied by three, so that's third k to the third minus 6 times 1, 6 times 1, 10 to the third. And that's got parentheses around it. You don't actually have to write the rest of 6 right there. Minus 3 k to the third equals 6. That should be what they have as the answer. Then why do students miss this problem? They don't remember this little Hubertism right here. Oh, that's good. Thought I hit the wrong. I hit the highlighter. There we go. Dang, I can't find my cursor. There. Okay, still can't find it. Y'all see it anywhere up there? Up there, there it is. But when I bring it out to the white screen, I'll just follow it along. There it is. That when you factor out an exponent, you always go with what? Lowest exponent. And a lot of people forget that. So now you got that in your brain housing group. Whenever you factor out something, you always factor out the lowest exponent. Teach. I'm sorry, I can't do this. All right, next problem. They don't have this kind of question. If you factor out the lowest exponent, you can't factor anymore. But if you have a reverse FOIL after that, then yes, you keep factoring. And we'll get to those eventually. I'm getting rid of this one. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have got rid of the N. It's disappearing when I go up to the top. This is a conspiracy, is what it is. There it is. I got it now. All right. R23. I'm going to do one more, and then we'll move on. It's the same problem. All right, you factor that one out. I'll blow it up. And get it all discombobulated, so when I get up there, I'll get irritated. If everybody would see it where they could see, then I wouldn't have to do that. So if you was to factor these out, let's see, K to the fourth, M to the third. That's what I would factor out. Is that what y'all factored out? I've got a lot of questions to cover, so I'm going to get through the three. There we go. And you should get that answer. 3K to the fourth, M to the third, times 1 plus 2K to the fifth minus 16. And you might see one of these on the test, but not very many. You're going to see a lot of the shortcuts, maybe 5 or 600 on the test. Okay? There's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to hammer and hammer and hammer, and that's because I teach calculus. And I know what y'all suck at in that first two weeks of calculus. Y'all suck at the shortcuts, you suck at the exponential laws, you suck at rationalizing the denominator, all that stuff. So, what about graphing? We don't even use what you did in graphing 2 months. We don't use it very much. Although, do y'all remember how to find the slope of a line? And we spend a whole class section on that in the first week class. Okay. For those. Now, okay, I know somebody's sitting there going, well, I'm not a good calculator. Well, I'm not talking to you. Okay? A majority of the students that take college algebra, majority, 90%, usually go on to take what next? Well, the trig and then the calculus. Most students, okay, 80%. I'll go from 90 to 80%. And some take the college algebra just for a college course to take for their 2-year degree program. I understand that. I'm talking the majority of students. Most students take college algebra, usually take college trig and then take calculus. So that's why I'm putting you in one place. So I don't need to, I'm not taking it stuff. Okay? Alright. Next. That was R23. So I want to move over to R2, looks like R253. It sounds like I'm in dang old Star Wars. R253. Okay? R253, number dang old 14. So this is number 53 in the book, number 14 online. There we go. Shortcut. If you can't do it, you're a failure. Which one is it? Look at it. Look at the 5 shortcuts and determine which one it is. This is a test question. Anything having to do with those 5 shortcuts, can I speak please? Can I be a first or not? Anything having to do with those 5 shortcuts is going to be on the test. And I'll put 150 on the test just so those people that think they can do it with the FOIL, you don't have time to do the FOIL. You can do it. Take you like 3 hours to take the test. Yeah, I'm a bastard. I know. Now, how do you know which one it is? Well, there is one indicator that tells you which one it is. But actually, there's 3 indicators. 4, really. So somebody tell me which one is just staring you in the face and saying, hey, use me. Which one? The last one. Why? There's a Q. All right, now you stole my thunder from me, but that's okay. All right, she said it's cube root. That first one, that x cube, that's the one that blindly hits you in the face like a brick and says, okay, you got to use number 4 and number 5. If you're trying to use number 1, 2, and 3, you're a loser. Why? Because 1, 2, and 3 are in terms of what? Squares. This is a cube. Now, what are the 4 other indicators? Well, the 8 is a perfect cube. How do you know that? Well, you know your perfect cube. 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times 3 times 3, 4 times 4 times 4. You don't, you're a loser. All right, 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, you can't get those on calculator. You have to use what? You have to use your brain. You have to memorize it. Then the 4th indicator is the negative. The negative tells, as she said, the last one, shortcut number 5. So this is shortcut number 5. So let's do shortcut number 5. Write it up under it. Let me fix the thing again. Oops, wrong way. I used to even do a card for y'all. put a 2 here, it'll be 8. Put a 3 here, it'll be 27. And we do that all the way up to, and then we do that up to 16. We memorize it. So that, therefore, when we did see this, we go, oh, that's cute. Not prepared okay? Now, if you're reviewing, then that's okay. I'm talking 2 or 3 weeks from now, you should say, okay, that's cute. So 125 x cubed minus 8 looks like a cubed minus b cubed, which is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus c cubed. And draw a little cube here. Cube like 2a cubed here and a cube here. So a cubed is equal to 125 x cubed, and b cubed is equal to 8. Well, we don't need a cubed and b cubed. We need what? I'm pointing, that's not recorded. What do we need? We need a and b. So you don't put 125 and 8 in there. You got to take the what? Cube root of all of those. And you're doing this in your head. And you get a is equal to 5x, and b is equal to 2, and that is what you plug and shove into that. And your final answer is 5x minus 2, 25x squared plus 10x plus 4. So 5x minus 2. 5x squared is what? 25x squared. Appreciate the interaction. Plus 5 times 2 is 10x. Plus 2 squared is 4. Now, of course, like I said before, all that, after you get through reviewing, should be mental. When you're doing your homework and you get to this problem and you say, okay, that looks like 5x cubed, or 5x minus 2, and then you say 25x squared plus, you're on your way. If you're still in, I don't know how to do it. Well, you're still in that. You're still doing that. Okay, you need to go ahead and move forward. Get this out of the way. This is one of the things that's going to get you. All right? Man, you feel good about yourself. There are no orange face or hot milk, right? Yeah, whatever. You need to wait a few more hours or what? I think I lost my email anyway. So. See, nobody uses email for questions, so the people down at IT, they don't have any teachers that do this, so they set the log out at like 10 seconds or a minute or whatever. So that's why I have to log, no sneezing, please. That's why I have to log in every 5 seconds. So now I got to go back down here. There we go. All right, that was R253, correct? So now we move it into R3, R31, R31/15. All right, domain and range. So let me go ahead and talk about this. I need to refresh your memory a little bit. I'm going to draw a dang old picture up here for you. Okay, I'm not an artist, okay? Not. But I'm going to draw a picture, and it's not going to have anything to do with this thing. And I'm going to draw a picture here. What we'll do, this is before the, let's just see, in Smart Alex, in Smart Alex or Mark, will be fast place. Alright, now I don't know if you recognize this, but some of you that have been in hotels a long time ago might recognize it. What does it look like besides the, huh? A chair, okay, with something sticking in front of it, yeah. Okay, it looks like a chair, and you sit down, whatever this is right here, it'll just destroy whatever picture you have, okay? Yeah, it looks like a chair. Right. Okay, you all suck, okay? Alright, what goes into an ice machine? Water. What comes out of an ice machine? Let me ask you a question. What if you put, let's say, I don't know what this is, and I'm so bad, teenagers and the funnel. Okay? I don't know what that is. But anyway, you pour, instead of the water line, you decide for 5 gallons of cherry Kool-Aid into the ice machine. And when you do that, what will you get out? You're going to get 5 gallons of what? Red ice. And let's say did I hit something? Or did I? Let's say you don't like cherry Kool-Aid. So let's say you're one of those weird people that like lime Kool-Aid. 10 gallons of lime Kool-Aid. If you pour in 10 gallons of lime Kool-Aid, what are you going to get out? Yeah, pretty nasty. 10 gallons of green ice. Okay, you get the point? Whatever you put into it, you're going to what? Get out. Whatever you put into it, you get out. Same thing. Same thing with bicycles. Okay. Okay. In order for a bicycle to work, you have to be able to pedal it. If you sit on a bicycle and you have no legs, you fall down. I told that story one time. Guess what? I'm serious. Okay, tell me what would happen if a person with no legs sit on that daggone bicycle. What's offended about it? He falls down. He falls down. Anyway, if you don't have anything to put on the pedal here and this pedal here, you don't get anything out. You fall down. Okay? Let's say a child gets on this and he can't reach the pedal. What happens when you're teaching your children and they can't reach the pedal? What happens? You fall down. Okay? Hay baler. Let's say I got a hay baler and or hay bale, and I set down hay bale, and you set down the hay, and there's no hay. It has a drought. There's no hay. So if I set down a big old 20-acre field and there's no hay, then how many bales of hay am I going to get out of it? Zero. I'll get out of it, put into it. Kind of like math. But with H2O, when there's 3 stages here. There's three stages. There is this stage, which is the input. The actual machine. And then what? Output. What in the world does this have to do with the problem? Well, input in algebra has to do with what variable. X. And it's also called the domain. If I put 10 gallons of lime Kool-Aid in an ice machine, am I going to get 15 gallons of ice out of it? No. If I put 10 gallons of cherry Kool-Aid into the ice machine, am I going to get 5 gallons of cherry ice? No. Not 10 gallons. Whatever I put into it, I'm going to get out of it. Then what's the output? If the input is the X variable, what's the output? The Y. And it's called the radius. Then what's the machine called? The machine is called now before you called it Y. That's called decimation. This is called a point. Before it was Y. Now, two things or three things affect the domain. And if the domain is affected, what else is affected? The range, because the ice is affected or dependent upon the Kool-Aid. Also affects the range. But most of the time, they focus on the domain because that's where they're excited. Let me give you an example. Let's say I give you y is equal to 2x. There's your function. And I tell you to go from negative 5 to 10, or to 5. From negative 5, x such that x is equal negative 5 to 5. I have set your domain. Your domain is from negative 5 to 5. I have given you 5 gallons of Kool-Aid. You can't use 10, you're going to use 5. Okay, that's what I've done. It's technically 10 because there's 5 units here and 5 units here. I haven't given you 15 units, I haven't given you 10 units. So you draw your hand in. You put in negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir. And you put in your number. Negative 10 and positive 10. So your range is from negative 5 to what? Positive 5. What is your domain? What is your range? From negative 10 to what? Positive 10. The range is dependent upon the what? And if you don't understand, the ice cubes are dependent on the coolant. Three things affect the domain. The instructor or the direction, just like I did here. One. The instructor, the direction, usually, in other words, I gave you this problem. This is just quick. I gave you this problem on a test, and I said you can only use negative 5 to 5. I have affected the domain of the instructor through the direction. The instructor or the direction or the actual problem. Well, there's only two problems right now that are affected by the domain. And that is a radical with an even exponent and a rational. Rational is 25% words per fraction. What kind of problem is this? It's rational. See, it says it right here. So is my domain going to be affected on this problem? Yes, it is. Can't say all real numbers on this. So how do you find it? Well, with a rational, there's only one thing you can't have with a rational expression. And what can you not have? Denominator equal to 0. You cannot have 0 in the denominator. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let's say I gave you 5 gallons of green Kool-Aid to put in the ice machine. And then right after I gave you 5 gallons of green Kool-Aid, I gave you 2 gallons of gasoline put in there. What would happen? Well, not only would it taint the ice cube, okay, it would taint the ice cube, but what would the gasoline do to the Kool-Aid? It would taint it. Yeah, you couldn't drink it, you couldn't eat it, it was ice cube, but what would it do? You can't freeze gasoline. Well, you can't freeze it at 0 degrees or whatever freezing point of water is, 36 degrees. You can't freeze it. It's like vodka. Okay, I hate to offend anybody, but people in Russia, what do they put in their windshield washers? They put vodka. Or we put, because we're wussy, we put in America, we put rubbing alcohol. Okay, so we don't want to offend anybody. Alright? Why? Because it doesn't what? Freeze. So if you put gasoline or vodka in an ice machine, it's going to ruin what? The ice cube. Because water mixed with vodka makes watered down vodka. It doesn't freeze because it's got the vodka in it, or it's got the gasoline or the alcohol in it. Alright? So it doesn't, so you just messed up the whole, and if a spark hits with the electricity of the, you'll blow the whole daggum ice machine up. So, blow up means it's going to mess it up. And that's what 0 does in the denominator. So, when you've got a rational and you're trying to find the number that will not work, you set the denominator equal to what? So, x minus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to 3. So, if we plug a 3 into that equation, what's it going to do? It's going to blow the function up. The 3 is the alcohol. And that's how you find domain. Yes. Well, it's considered a number, yes. It's the absence of a number, really. Okay, I need to ask this question, and I'm going to ask Miss Novak, because I trust her. I don't trust someone else. Namely, one person I don't trust. What time's class over? Okay, thank you. That's why I don't trust y'all right now. 12:15. Y'all suck. That's why y'all don't take this class. All right, we'll do one more, because I know y'all are moving along. So we will do, and while y'all are working on this one, I'll take the roll. R311/16. R311/16. And they'll probably want you just to write this in lowest terms. I'll blow it up and freeze it. 25, 26, 27. Told you. There's two that haven't, and we all know why. Why are they not enrolled? Or why are they not on course company? All right, Bowen, Brownell, Charles, King, Cooper, Dunlap, Gaddis, Gadsden, Gross, Haney, Hunter, Johnson, and Johnson. Both of you? Okay. Martin's here. Moore, Nixon, Novak is here. So Yellow's here. Parker, as in Peter. Rodriguez, Cisco, Small, Smith. You're moving on me. Tucker, Patakis, and Young. All right, now we can move on. This will be our last problem, so those people that want to pack up early and be rude, you can wait. All right. There we go. All right, so the problem is problem says rewrite with rational, just simplify 3y minus 4 over 2y minus 4. First thing you do is factor out a common term. Okay, sorry. And that's going to factor out 3 at the top, and that'll give you y minus 2, and a 2 in the bottom, and that'll give you y minus 2. Oh my God! What's y minus 2 over y minus 2? 1. So you take your handy personal red marker and take out that, and your final answer is what? There you go. Okay, so what should everybody be doing in the next couple of days? 1, continue to work on the review. For those of you that are already doing 2 or 3 sections, keep on. I'm gonna get you before long, okay? You're gonna slow down before long. Those of you that have not registered because of your grandmother's 12 funeral, I'm not gonna listen to any excuses, so don't come up to me. Have I given y'all the 1-800 number for MyLabs Plus? Have I given you the number for Help Desk? So you should not be asking me anything. I can't help you get logged on. So those 2 people that are still not logged on, this is the 2nd week of class, you need to call the 1-800 number and say, look, I can't get logged on. All right? Make sure you're going through Blackboard. Okay? It's the only time you'll hear me say that, because they rig everything through Blackboard. If you don't go through Blackboard, then the whole world's going to come crumbling down. And I want you to, there was one other thing. Oh, don't forget the registration for the voters. Do not bring it up here today because I don't have anything to write you. I will do that next week or next time I see y'all, which will be when? Thursday? We'll do that Thursday. If it's not that day or the next day or whatever, we'll do it. Okay? I'll think of a bonus to do for those that can't do it between now and Thursday. Okay? Y'all get out of here and have a good day. And don't forget to watch the videos if you missed class. Duh.